Hello and welcome to another video. So I don't cover many forest decks, mainly because I typically lack the legendaries to do big forest decks that are half decent. Although Aggro Forest is still a very good deck and can really hold its own in the majority of the unlimited meta. Very similar to Shadow, where they really can't nerf anything too heavily in it. They never hit Rhino Roach, which was always a little bit of a disappointment to me, as I always used to hate going up against OTK Rhino Roach, but these days, even OTK Rhino Roach isn't that much of a threat because of the counter cards, so really you want to kind of swarm the board with aggression, fairies, boost them, really take the games that way. So we're going to get right into this and check it out. So game 1 is going to be Forest versus Forest. You don't see, I don't personally see at least, a lot of Forest on the ladder in Unlimited. I would say I see about as much as I do some of the other lower classes. But it can definitely be a very powerful deck. It can definitely hold its own in most situations if you're playing it right. Of course, I'm no expert at Forest, as it's definitely one of my least played decks. Probably was also one of the most neglected classes when it came to me starting out. I think between Forest and Dragon, I did neglect those quite a bit. I picked up Dragon, though, a little more later on, so at least that kind of made up for it now. Although, I would say Forest and probably Shadow are some of the most neglected classes that I don't play much. Mainly because of lack of cards. I mean, Unlimited Shadow is pretty much just mid-Shadow, and then Rotation, I'm just missing too many good legendaries from it, so it's not worth the hassle. So we kicked off to a pretty good start. Basically just swarming the board, as you can see here, is a very solid strategy. I did decide not to attack anything. I didn't want to lose 2 followers to this. I know that probably is going to hurt me in the long run, but I should be able to maintain myself quite nicely. Even Wood of Brambles shouldn't be an issue. And considering they went all face, leaving up this board is definitely a risk for them. So I decided to do the 3 damage. I could go for the Roach play with the Airbound to get that extra damage in. I probably could have done it better with a Fairy, since I would have been able to, of course, retain 1 extra play point. Not that that was going to be a big advantage. Because it kind of does give away that, of course, I have a Roach in hand, although that could lead to an earlier concede, considering we have dropped them now to 5 health. But we don't need much for a win next turn. Literally just playing our 4-drop into our Roach will win the game, provided they don't ward or heal. Well, I mean, they can heal at least 1, so that's okay. So even on a board wipe here, we are safe. Learning up that win felt really nice playing this Forest deck. So make sure I play the Twin Souls first just because I can, and the Roach second, giving us 2, plus 2 gives us 6. Since we do get the, of course, double attack on the Evo. So for the second game here, we are up against Sword, a very popular deck in both Rotation and Unlimited formats. Sword is another one of those sort of decks that doesn't see quite as many nerfs lately in the Unlimited format, mainly because, of course, its aggression is good but not overwhelming. It's definitely a powerhouse in Rotation at the moment, though, so no surprise if we see some changes with the mini expansion. Whether that just be more counters to Sword, or Sword getting less support compared to other classes, it wouldn't surprise me at all. So we can actually take this pretty nicely, making it harder to remove the Goblin. This could make for a very early game. It really just depends on how the opponent plays out. So they're going to get 5 to face, but that's really it. And now we're actually safe to take out both of these. Now, ideally, I probably should have went for the Airbound Barrage and returned the Brambles. I did decide to go for the board flooding option, since next turn I could guarantee the Elf Song, which would give us quite a nice board. So it was definitely a risk, but I think it was one that was definitely worth taking. So I can go for the Goblin Fairy into Elf Song play, which will maximize our board and give us a pretty decent hand to work with. And let us deal a pretty nice 8 damage. A good way to kick off the turn. They are going for a lot of ambush though, so that's definitely a risk. At least now they are forced to deal with my board as much as possible or risk losing. And we're very close to lethal. And the roach off the top should give us game. Such a close one, I mean, like, insane. The airbound barrage roach play was definitely what we wanted. I could have also done with our 4-drop Evo that we could have, of course, got double attack out of. I believe that would have also gave us lethal. So we had a few options. It wasn't like we were completely stuck. So keeping this video as a shorter one overall, it's definitely a reasonably solid deck. It does an okay job. It's not extremely expensive. I mean, I'm running, what, 4 legendaries in this? 2 Insect Lord and 2 Lizard. You could probably get away with 3 Lizard and probably just still the 2 Insect Lord and probably just sub something else out. But overall, reasonably solid, does the job and really performs quite well for a aggro deck. Not too shabby at all for Forest, and if you are lacking cards like I am for something like Forest, this sort of deck actually isn't too bad. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe for more content. You'll find the link in the description below. Until next time guys, see ya.